What's up guys and welcome to this new series, which is not really a new series because it's part of a Teach Me Ernie, so it's more like a sub-series. It's like a series-ception. But yes, anyway, welcome to this new sub-series based on the number 13. Why 13, you might ask? Well, because 13 reasons why. Absolutely not. I would have loved to tell you that there was something deep behind this choice. Like the fact that the number 13 is intrinsically linked to the concept of luck. But no, really, I just put pieces of paper with random numbers into a hat and I picked up the number 13. Anyway, you don't care about my life, you just want the list, so here it is. 13 mythical creatures that actually existed. Kinda, not really. Well, they did, it's not clickbait, but it's just that I hope you'll enjoy! Okay, let's firstly start with the dire wolves, because, well, they are mythical creatures, but not really, you know, like more fantasy creatures. But at the same time, aren't fantasy creatures mythical creatures? The line is thin. So the dire wolves are giant, generally battle wolves, that appeared in role-playing games and in a show that everyone loves without knowing why they love it. But the fact that everyone loves it. And I love it. Like everyone. Because we're all sheeps. No, but seriously, either you love this show because everyone is loving it, and so you're just like everyone, or because you're a psychopath. I mean, murders, infanticides, parricides, incest, torture, naked girls. Okay, I got why you love this show. My bad. You pervert. So the dire wolves existed during the Pleistocene age and were part of the megafauna. Well, the big animals. So they were made better, bigger, faster, stronger, more than ever, hour after our work is never. But they disappeared because bigger doesn't always mean better. Yeah, I said that only to feel better about myself. And so what? No, but really they disappeared because as they were bigger, they needed more food because that's a fact. Fat people eat more. I didn't say that. And that, my cucumber, is why you need to tourner ta langue 7 fois dans ta bouche avant de parler. Yes, that's a French proverb. That means you need to turn your... So, yeah, they needed more food, and as the megafauna was starting to get extinct, they didn't have this food anymore, so they became scavengers, and as they were not made to be scavengers, instead of evolving, well, you know, bigger doesn't mean tougher, so they all died. Yeah! Okay, so number 2 are the berserker! So the guts actually did exist. They were fierce warriors with supernatural strength and invincible... Not really. So how did they exist? I mean, how can fierce warrior can exist? I mean, how can blood-frenzied warriors can... Well, they were just like random warriors, that's it, I mean... No, they were stronger, faster, better! No, that was the dire wolves. Damn it. So the key to their supernatural forces were... they were taking drugs. Drugs that made them feel less, dull to pain, and stronger. But still drugs. So if you want to become a berserk, you just need to... Don't do it, kids. Don't do drugs. It's bad. You should not. So number 3 is Moby Dick, which was actually inspired by a real sperm whale called Mocha Dick. Dick? Please kill me. And just so you know, no, they are not called sperm whales because they look like some. No, they are called this way because their heads are full of spermaceti, which is a liquid that serves for buoyancy and echolocation. which strangely looks like sperm. So they are kinda called this way because of but not really! And so Mocha Dick was nothing but an albino sperm whale that lived around the Mocha Islands. Bonus point for originality! And that sunk more than 100 whaling ships. Number 4, let's stay underwater, under the sea. With the Kraken. And I love how sometimes mythical names just sound badass, like Unleash the Kraken, when really it's just that. So the Kraken does exist, and there are many Krakens. It's like Kraken's Fest. It's like Kraken's... I don't know where I'm going with this joke, and I'm unable to get out of it, so let's just forget I started something. And yeah, they are giant calamaries, giant squids. I love how all the mythical creatures that actually existed are basically just like normal things, but bigger. Yeah. So technically, giant squids can grow tall enough to tackle sperm whales, so that's pretty freaking big. But the thing is, they don't really like to live in shallow waters. Probably because they would die because of their size. But yeah, they prefer to live into deep water. And that's actually not because they would die on shallow waters. That's because they fear men. Because they know that if they go to Japan, they will become sushi, and if they go to the US, they will become fried. No, that wasn't stereotypical at all. So number 5, the kappa, the river children in Japanese folklore. So those river children are flesh-eating creatures that drive people, mostly short people. Yeah, that's always short people anyway. I don't even know how I'm still alive. And short animals into water to eat them. But there's a trick, because if you're polite with them, they will release you. Like in Japan, respect is so important that even flesh-eating creatures will release you if you respect them. I love this country! But so those kappa are basically short human-sized, like teenager-sized, like my size, and live in the water. Just like the giant salamander! Again, a giant thing! Yeah! And yeah, there's nothing more to say with this one but that. So the kappa are nothing else but the Japanese giant salamanders. They even look the same. Kinda. Not really. Number 6! The African unicorn. No, I didn't make this one up, I promise you. That was a mythical creature. That is actually a real animal, which is the okapi. So the okapi is a giraffe the size of a horse and with the back of a zebra. Yes, it does sound like a mythical creature, but it's not. It's just a what the fuck, nature? For years, stories about this animal were heard, but no one was able to find one, and researchers went there to search for it and never find any. And at the point where it was about to be said mythical creature, someone actually discovered one. And yeah, that's pretty much how it became from myth to reality. I think that's freaking amazing. Number 7, the hobbits. Some were actually found in New Indonesia. Indeed, the discovery was made on a Flores Island cave. In this cave, some archaeologists found out bones of hobbit-sized adult humans. With them, they also found out tools and signs of civilization. Proof that the hobbits did exist. Shut up. Number 8, the dragons. And our dragons don't spit fire, and that's a shame, because I would have loved that. Why the fact that they don't spit fire or have wings doesn't matter? Well, mostly because dragons exist in about all the mythologies in like the entire world. And they don't always have wings. For example, in Chinese mythology, they don't. They also don't always spit fire. But there's one thing they always have in common. And that's the fact that they are humongous lizards. And those humongous lizards do exist in the name of Komodo dragons, which are large venomous lizards that can eat humans. But they don't because they fear humans, as they became endangered because humans killed most of them. Et on encule la nature! Okay, let's continue after the giant lizard, the giant sea serpent! Yes! You thought I would go for the giant snake. I will, but later. But first, let's see the giant sea serpents. Because yes, giant snakes and giant sea serpents are completely different because, well, first off, both exist as mythical creatures. Secondly, I had to make them different because without that I would have been unable to reach my count of 13. And thirdly, because they actually do exist as two different animals. So the giant sea serpents, well, there's kind of nothing more to add about the myth. Like, giant sea serpents have always existed and they are giant serpents that live in the sea. So they are giant sea serpents. Yeah. And in real life, they are the oarfish. Oarfish, O-R fish, or O-A-R fish is. So what's an oarfish? Well, the oarfish is a giant sea serpent. Like, literally, like, this time there's no joke, nothing to say, you know, it's just like, the oarfish is a fish that looks like a snake, that is giant and lives in the water, so it's like a giant sea serpent, so you're just like, hey, the mythical creature is the giant sea serpent, and the oarfish is a giant sea serpent, so it's just like a giant sea serpent, yeah. No, before we move on, the oarfish is actually not a sea snake, it's a giant regal-sized pelagic lampriform fish. Bless you. And yes, I said that to sound scientific. Now we can move on. And we can move on, as promised, to the number 10, which is the imugi. The giant snake. So the imugi is a Korean legend that was, well, a giant snake that was supposed to be a juvenile dragon. Imugis, but without S, because that's one of those fucked up words that when they are like many of those you don't put an S, it's still imugi, so the plural of imugi is imugi. Why? Because fuck you, that's language! Sorry, I just got carried away, you know, with all my languages videos and Anyway, so the imugi are believed to live in caves underwater. Because, logic, if they were to live like outside, you would see them, they wouldn't be mythical creatures. Duh. And have to live for about 1000 years before being able to reach Valhalla. That's not the right mythology, so to reach the Great Cucumber. Yeah, that works with all mythologies. And become true dragons. Masterpiece was banned! Meta joke, but true Draco players feel my pain. But so, because I'm just talking about the imugi without giving you the counterpart, like the real one, and that's the Titano... Do you say Tita or Tito? Is it Titanic or Titanic? Because if it's Titanic, I'd guess it would be Titanoboa, but if not, it would be the Titanoboa. Or is it Titano? The Titanoboa. So the Titanoboa were because they went extinct. They got jeopardized because they were big. Absolutely not. But short people will rule the world! We are cockroaches! Should really write down better images for... So yeah, those snakes were 14 meters long, like my Nessie, or the Loch Ness Monster. So even though Nessie doesn't exist, the monster that is Nessie did exist, and is nothing but a plesiosaur. Of course! But what's a plesiosaur? Well, a plesiosaur is nothing but a sauropterygian. You're welcome. No, I'm kidding, it's just a Mesozoic marine reptile. Or in other words, a dinosaur fish with a long neck. Now the penultimate... I didn't say antepenultimate. Okay, so the penultimate one are the zombies. So what are the zombies? Well, pretty much that. But rotten. But yeah, I wasn't able to fake that, and so yeah, zombies are rotten people that eat flesh. And you know what? They exist! So the origins of the zombies come from an Haitian myth where voodoos were able to bring back dead from, well, death and use them as slaves. But how did they do that? Well, easy, they didn't. People were not dead. They were using tetrodotoxin, which is a neurotoxin found in pufferfishes. This neurotoxin, when properly concentrated, would stiffen the muscles, slow down the heart, so that people believed that you were dead. Then you were buried, and then the voodoo came after the burial to just take you back home. They would just wait for you to come back to life, and then they would drug you to make you a zombie. So, okay, those were not becoming rotten flesh eaters, but they were brain dead. And that's pretty much what works with all the zombies in all the cultures. Brain dead. And finally, last but not least, the Amazons. Because women power! So I'm pretty sure that most of you have already heard about the Amazons, which were fierce warrior, exclusively female tribes. So even though some things are not really true, like the fact that they were cutting one of their boobs to be able to better aim with their bows, one thing was, and that's the fact that they existed. And I think that's pretty much the most important thing, right? Indeed, in the Eurasian steppes, ancient graves have been discovered, and most of the women within those graves had battle-damaged bones. Not only that, but they were buried with their swords, bows, daggers, and armors. Armors that were covering more than just the boobs and yeah, I know, crazy, right? Video games are lying to us! What? And yeah, this is the end of my first 13 points list. So please tell me in the comments which topic you want me to cover next with this 13 points list, and I will make a 13 points list out of one of those. And yeah. Putain! And this is the end of 13 mythological creatures that actually existed. I hope you liked the video. If you did, don't forget to put a thumbs up, share the video, subscribe to my channel. Go follow me on all my social medias, because there, like, really, I don't know what to say because I knew nothing on my social medias. But Twitter, I actually tweet a lot, so you should go follow me on Twitter. You can also support me on Patreon, so I will do that as a full-time job one day, maybe, probably not, but who knows? And no matter what happens, I will see you in my next video. Have an amazing, summerful day. Don't forget to smile, and bye-bye!